The line crackled as the dispatcher adjusted her headset. 911, what's your emergency? A breathless whisper cut through the static. He's outside, watching me. The dispatcher straightened. Ma'am, I need you to stay calm. Are you alone in the house? A shaky exhale. Yes, I locked the doors, but... A muffled sob. He knows I'm here. The dispatcher's fingers flew across the keyboard, pulling up the address linked to the number. Rachel Hayes. Previous reports. Restraining order filed 3 months ago. Rachel, listen to me. Officers are on the way. Do not hang up. Her breathing hitched. I don't think I have time, and a plea for help. Then chaos. The dispatcher's voice remained steady. Tell me what's happening. A sudden bang outside. Rachel sucked in a sharp breath. Oh my God, he's in the backyard. The dispatcher's pulse quickened. Rachel, where are you right now? Kitchen. The whisper barely carried through the receiver. The blinds are down, but I think he sees me. Glass shattered. A piercing scream erupted through the line. Rachel? A thud. The phone clattered against a hard surface. Rustling. A guttural sound. Then, nothing. A call that ends in fear. The dispatcher's hand clenched the desk. Rachel, are you still there? Silence. Then, a sound. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. The dispatcher's stomach twisted. Rachel, if you can hear me, make a noise. Officers are almost there. A click. The line went dead. 2 squad cars pulled up to the curb, red and blue lights casting eerie shadows against the house. Sergeant Mills stepped out first, eyes locking onto the front door, slightly ajar, swaying in the breeze. Shit. He signaled to his partner. She's not answering. We go in. One officer muttered under his breath, This isn't good. Signs of a struggle. A house and in disarray. Inside, the air was heavy. Still, yet charged. A shattered picture frame lay near the entryway, the image beneath it showing a smiling Rachel with another man. Mark Reynolds. A wine glass tipped over on the coffee table, deep red liquid pooling onto the carpet. Sergeant Mills scanned the room. No forced entry, no signs of Rachel. A lamp lay on its side, the shade bent. Furniture knocked askew. Officer Vega's voice was tight. She fought back. Mills nodded grimly. Yeah, and lost. Message in lipstick. A chilling claim. Down the hall, a bathroom door stood ajar. Inside, the mirror was fogged, condensation still clinging to the edges. A message, smeared in red lipstick, was scrawled across the glass. Mine. The officers exchanged a glance. Sergeant Mills exhaled. This wasn't random. Officer Vega looked toward the open doorway, the night pressing in. Somewhere out there, Ethan Carter was still watching. And Rachel? She was gone. Rachel had told herself it was over. 1 year, a full year since she had walked away from Ethan Carter, since she had broken free from the tight grip of his love, if she could even call it that. Love wasn't supposed to feel like suffocation. It wasn't supposed to be a constant battle for space, for air, for freedom. She had spent months convincing herself she was finally free. But some shadows don't stay in the past. A new love. Finding comfort in Mark Reynolds had been the opposite of Ethan. Patient. Kind. Safe. With him, Rachel didn't have to explain why she flinched at unexpected touches or why she kept her phone on silent at night. He never demanded, never pushed, never made her feel like she owed him her time. She had started to believe in normal again, but the feeling of being watched never left. Was it just paranoia? Or was Ethan still there, lurking just beyond the edges of her new life? The unshakable feeling. Someone's always there. At first, she dismissed it. The rustling outside her window late at night. Probably just the wind. The car that sat a little too long near her driveway. Probably a neighbor's visitor. The prickling sensation of eyes trailing her even when she was alone. Rachel shook it off. Ethan was gone. Wasn't he? Ethan had been perfect. At least, that's what Rachel used to believe. He had swept her off her feet with grand gestures, endless devotion, and a love so intense it felt all-consuming. But over time, his affection began to smother her, his love turning into possession. When she tried to leave, he convinced himself it wasn't real. She didn't mean it. "She's just confused," he told himself, gripping the steering wheel as he circled her block for the third time that night. "She belongs with me." The lies. He tells himself, delusion and control. Every day, he scrolled through her social media, reading into every word, every picture. If she posted a song lyric, he was sure it was about him. If she smiled in a photo, he saw betrayal. And then there was Mark, a nobody, a mistake, a problem that needed to be fixed. Rachel wasn't over him. She was just pretending. And if she couldn't see it yet, he'd make her see. If I can't have you, no one will. Crossing the line. Love warped into hate. He had been patient. He had given her time to come back, but she was pushing him, ignoring his messages, living her life as if he never existed. Late-night drives past her house weren't enough anymore. The ignored messages turned into threats. "You're making a mistake. You think I don't see you with him? You think he can keep you safe?" He had waited outside her job, watching through the window as she laughed with Mark. Rachel was his. She just needed a reminder. Rachel had gone to the police. She had shown them the texts, the emails, the countless missed calls at 2 a.m. "He hasn't hurt you," the officer had said, his voice clipped. "Call us if he does." So she had done the only thing she could. Filed a restraining order. A legal piece of paper meant to keep her safe. It didn't. If anything, it made him angrier. The first signs of escalation. It started small. A dead rose on her porch. Her car keyed down the side. Then, one night, she walked outside to find her tires slashed. Her friends begged her to be careful. "He's getting worse, Rach." But what was she supposed to do? Run forever? Rachel refused to live in fear, but Ethan, he wasn't finished yet. Living in fear, the illusion of security, Rachel hesitated before unlocking her front door. She glanced over her shoulder, scanning the dimly lit street. Nothing. But she knew better than to trust the silence. Inside, she double-checked the locks. 1, 2, 3. She tested the windows, her fingers trembling. The new security camera outside should have made her feel safe, but it didn't. Ethan was out there, watching, waiting. She whispered the words aloud. "He can't hurt me." But even she didn't believe it. Mark's concern. A desperate plea. "You can't keep living like this, Rach," Mark said, his voice edged with frustration. "It's not a life. It's a prison." Rachel bit her lip, staring at the untouched coffee in front of her. "I just need time." Mark reached for her hand, squeezing gently. "Move in with me." She looked up, startled. Mark's gaze softened. "I won't push, but you shouldn't be alone." Rachel exhaled. Moving in felt like surrendering, like letting Ethan dictate her choices even now. But deep down, she knew Mark was right. Night of terror, the open window. Rachel dragged herself through the front door, exhaustion weighing heavy. Teaching all day, pretending everything was normal, was draining. She tossed her bag onto the couch, but a chill prickled at her skin. Something was off. Then she saw it. Her bedroom window, wide open. Her stomach lurched. She knew she had locked it. A slow, suffocating panic wrapped around her. Was he here? The breaking point. Nowhere. Feels safe. Her hands trembled as she checked every room. Closet doors, under the bed, bathroom, nothing. But she felt his presence, like he had just been there. Rachel grabbed her phone and called Mark. He picked up immediately. "Rach?" Her voice shook. "You were right. I can't stay here anymore." The first text, a whisper from the past. Her phone buzzed at 1 a.m. She groggily reached for it, expecting an email or a late-night notification. Unknown number. "I miss you, Rach. Let's talk." She bolted upright. Her breath hitched. It was him. She deleted the message, but her hands wouldn't stop shaking. The threats begin. No more pretending. A second message followed. "You think you're safe with him? You're not." Rachel's blood ran cold. She barely noticed Mark watching her. "What's wrong?" She showed him the screen, her hands gripping the phone so tightly her knuckles turned white. Mark's jaw clenched. "He's getting bolder. We have to call the police." Rachel shook her head. "They won't do anything until it's too late. The chilling picture. Nowhere to hide." Her phone buzzed again. This time there were no words, just a picture. Her bedroom window, taken from outside. She gasped, stumbling back, her stomach twisted. He was here, watching, waiting. Mark's rage. A line has been crossed. Mark grabbed her phone, his knuckles white. "This is stalking, Rachel. He's escalating." "I know," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Mark reached for his keys. "We're reporting this. Tonight." This time, she didn't argue. Rachel unlocked the door, an uneasy feeling settling deep in her gut. The moment she stepped inside, she knew. Drawers flung open, clothes scattered, the couch cushions slashed. A cold sweat broke across her skin, but nothing was missing, except one thing: her favorite perfume bottle. A disturbing reminder. He was here. Her bedroom was untouched, except for one detail. The bed was made. Perfectly. A single piece of paper lay on her pillow. "You'll always be mine." Rachel's vision blurred. Her hands trembled as she clutched the note. The walls felt like they were closing in at the realization. This won't stop. Rachel collapsed onto the couch, trying to steady her breath. "He's not going to stop," she whispered. Mark clenched his fists. "Then we leave." She lifted her eyes to his. For the first time, she truly believed it. A silent watcher, Ethan knows. From across the street, Ethan sat in his car, hidden in the shadows. He saw Rachel, her silhouette framed by the window. She was scared now. Good. She thought she could run, but she belonged to him. "You're moving in tonight." Rachel hesitated. Mark took her hands in his. "I'm not asking, Rach. I'm telling you. We're not waiting for him to take this further." She swallowed hard. For the first time she nodded. "I can't do this alone." Mark kissed her forehead. "We'll pack your things, then go." They never saw the shadow outside the window, packing in a hurry, racing against time. Rachel grabbed a duffel bag, stuffing it with clothes and essentials. Every sound in the apartment made her flinch. Mark kept watch at the door, his body tense. Her phone remained silent, too silent. She didn't know what was worse, the messages or the waiting. Ethan's final message, a warning they can't ignore. As she zipped her bag, her phone vibrated. One last message. "You can run, but you'll never be free." Rachel's breath hitched. Mark grabbed the phone, his jaw tight. "He's not going to win." But even as he said the words, Rachel wasn't sure she believed them. As a watcher in the dark, a storm is coming from across the street, Ethan watched. His fingers tapped against the steering wheel. His eyes darkened as he saw the two of them leaving together. Rachel thought she was escaping. But this wasn't over. Not yet. Rachel's hands gripped the steering wheel as she pulled into the driveway. Her pulse hammered in her ears. Something felt off. Mark should be home. There should be lights on, music playing, the usual hum of their quiet life. But the house sat in darkness, its stillness unnerving. The wind rustled the trees, and that's when she noticed the front door, slightly ajar. Rachel swallowed hard. "Mark?" Her voice barely carried past the front step. No answer. Her stomach twisted as she stepped inside. The silence felt unnatural, wrong. A chill crept down her spine. Something wasn't right. A door that locks itself, nowhere to run. A soft creak echoed behind her. Rachel spun around, just in time to hear the door click shut. Her breath hitched. Not the wind, not an accident. Then a shadow shifted in the dim light. A voice. Low, steady, too calm. "I told you." Rachel's blood ran cold. Ethan stepped forward, his lips curling into a slow, twisted smile. "You were always mine." Her fingers twitched, aching to reach for the door handle, but she didn't move. He was between her and freedom, trapped with a monster. Ethan's delusion. Ethan tilted his head, his eyes locked on her with an unnerving intensity. I did everything for you, he murmured, and you chose him. Rachel's throat felt dry. You need help, Ethan. His expression hardened. I don't need help. I need you. Her heart pounded as she inched backward. It's over. Ethan shook his head. No, Rachel. I decide when it's over. Then he moved. Rachel lunged for the door, but he was faster. The attack begins. A predator unleashed. His grip clamped around her wrist, yanking her back. Rachel gasped, struggling. Why did you make me do this? His voice cracked with rage, his fingers bruising her skin. She twisted, nails digging into his arm. Let me go, Ethan! A wild, almost heartbroken look flickered across his face. I told you not to leave me, he whispered. Rachel kicked. Hard. A loud crash. The lamp shattered as the room plunged into shadow. Then Ethan was on her again, pinning her down. Her breath vanished under his weight. Rachel gasped, Ethan's hands closing around her throat. You ruined everything, he growled. Her fingers clawed at his arms, her legs kicking, chest burning for air. Spots danced in her vision. Then, her hand brushed against something, her pocket knife. With the last of her strength, she swung as a blade strikes. Blood in the darkness. Ethan's body jerked, his grip loosened. A dark stain bloomed across his shirt. His mouth opened in shock. You... Rachel didn't stop. She stabbed again. He staggered, panting, hand clutching his side. But he was still moving. Rachel's escape, but he's not done yet. She scrambled free, gasping for air. Ethan laughed, a low, guttural sound. You think this is over? His voice was barely above a whisper. Rachel lunged for the door, her fingers trembling on the handle. Footsteps. Behind her. He was getting up. A moment of hope, a deadly mistake. Then the door burst open. Mark. His eyes widened in horror. Rachel! Oh my God! Relief crashed over her. Then Ethan moved. Too fast, too quiet. Rachel saw the glint of metal a second before Mark did. Ethan had a hidden knife. Ethan lunged, blade flashing. Mark threw a punch. His fist connected, but it wasn't enough. A sharp gasp. The knife sank in. Rachel's scream ripped through the air. Mark stumbled, his body jerking as blood seeped through his shirt. His knees buckled. Rachel caught him before he hit the ground. The killer's last words. A twisted victory. Ethan staggered, his own blood pooling beneath him. Yet he grinned. His voice was weak, but triumphant. I told you, he breathed, each word fading. If I can't have you. His legs gave out. Rachel didn't care. She cradled Mark, her hands pressing frantically against his wound. Stay with me, she sobbed. Please. Mark's eyes fluttered. His hand found hers. Then darkness took him. The wail of sirens pierces the night, growing louder with each passing second. Flashing red and blue lights dance across the walls, illuminating the wreckage inside, shattered glass, overturned furniture, and smears of blood staining the floor. 2 bodies. One, motionless, lying in a crimson pool, the other fighting for breath. Rachel kneels between them, hands trembling, her body frozen in shock. Her lips move, but the words barely come out. I had no choice. Her voice is barely a whisper, hollow, broken. She doesn't flinch as footsteps thunder toward her. Then survival. A monster who won't die. EMTs scramble around Ethan's bloodied form, their voices sharp and urgent. His eyelids flicker open, breath ragged, his shirt soaked with deep red. His lips twitch into a weak smirk. She tried to kill me, he rasps. Rachel snaps her head up, shock flashing in her eyes. No, she gasps. He's lying. The officer towering over her doesn't hesitate. Rachel Hayes, stand up. Cold metal snaps around her wrists. Arrested for survival. The system moves fast. Rachel's arms are yanked behind her back. You're under arrest for assault and homicide, an officer states flatly. She struggles, her mind racing. No, he was going to kill me. Rachel's voice cracks, desperate, but no one listens. No one cares. As the squad car door slams shut, she watches through the window. Paramedics wheel Ethan away, alive. The nightmare isn't over, it's just beginning. Cameras flash. Reporters crowd the steps of the courthouse, shouting questions as Rachel is escorted inside. The teacher who killed her boyfriend. That's what the headlines say. Inside, Ethan sits in a wheelchair, his face carefully arranged in a look of quiet suffering. Bandaged, but composed. The prosecutor strides forward, voice sharp. Rachel Hayes is not the victim. She's a woman scorned. She lured Ethan there. It was a trap. Gasps ripple through the courtroom. Rachel's fingers dig into the table. That's not true, she murmurs under her breath, but truth doesn't matter in the court of public opinion. Ethan plays the victim, lies on the stand. Ethan wipes his eyes, voice trembling as he speaks. I just wanted to talk to her, he says, his tone carefully fragile. Rachel's stomach churns. Liar. I loved Rachel, but she wouldn't let me go. Some jurors nod. Others frown. Rachel's hands tremble under the table. She knows what's happening. He's playing them all, a defense that falls on deaf ears. Rachel's lawyer steps forward, frustration etched on his face. He presents evidence, restraining orders, text messages, reports of break-ins. This was a man obsessed, he argues. Rachel defended herself. Mark Reynolds paid the price for a monster's delusion. But some jurors don't look convinced. The prosecution counters. There's no proof Ethan had a weapon. No proof Rachel was in danger. Rachel grits her teeth. No proof? She stares at the jury. What more do they need? Her own corpse? A decision that changes everything. The air in the courtroom is suffocating. The jury files back in. Rachel feels like she's outside of her own body, watching it unfold. The foreman clears his throat. Involuntary manslaughter. Rachel freezes. 5 years. Not a murderer, but not innocent either. She clenches her fists under the table. Her life is over. The town's judgment. Whispers of blame. The courthouse steps buzz with murmurs and speculation. She was leading them both on, someone whispers. She wanted attention. Ethan limps out, a sympathetic smile on his lips. The town forgives him. Mark is forgotten. Rachel loses everything, a sentence that can't be reversed. 5 years. That's what she gets for surviving. From behind cold steel bars, Rachel watches the world move on without her. Ethan is free, walking among them. Mark is gone, buried beneath 6 feet of dirt. And Rachel? She's paying the price for loving the wrong man. Justice was never meant for her. Ethan Carter is painted as the victim. A town that once ignored the whispers of his obsession, his stalking, his threats, now mourns him as a tragic figure. He just loved her too much, they say, shaking their heads. As if love could excuse terror, as if devotion could erase what he did. She pushed him away, someone murmurs. They say it with pity, as though Rachel was at fault for trying to escape. The reality of what she endured, the late-night calls, the shadow at her window, the breath against her neck in the dark, is rewritten as a tragic romance. Not a story of survival, but of a man who lost control because he loved too much. Rachel, the manipulator, a woman blamed. Rachel is not seen as the victim. She is the woman who led him on. If she was scared, why did she stay? They ask, dismissing the restraining orders, the desperate police reports, the ignored pleas. The town does not see Ethan as a predator. It sees Rachel as a liar. She enjoyed the attention, someone says over coffee. She played both men. The court gave her 5 years. The world gave her a lifetime of disgrace. No sentence will ever be enough to make them see the truth. The unanswered question. Why didn't she just leave? If she was in danger, why didn't she run? Rachel hears it whispered, sees it in sideways glances, in news articles that distort her story. The answer is simple. She tried. She called the police, she moved, she locked her doors, but no one believed her, and in the end, Ethan still found her, locked away, but never free. Prison is not just a sentence. It is a life stolen. 5 years of silence, judgment, and a past that never stops bleeding. Every night, she sees Mark's face, his last breath, the warmth of his blood spreading beneath her hands. And then there's Ethan's smirk. Even dying, he had won. Rachel lies awake, wondering if it was all inevitable in the scars no one sees. Guilt that never leaves. Ethan is free. Rachel is trapped. Not by bars, but by what-ifs. What if she had run sooner? What if she had fought harder? Would Mark still be alive? Would she? Her sentence will end. But the past will never leave her. What comes next? A life in pieces. Freedom should feel like hope. It doesn't. It feels like a cliff's edge, a world waiting for her to fall again. Rachel is not sure she has the strength to start over. The fight isn't over, but maybe she is. Ethan reinvents himself. A new job, a new city, a new woman, a new obsession. The cycle begins again, but this time the town doesn't question it. They never did. Some monsters don't die, they just find new prey. Rachel's reality. Waiting for the day she can breathe again. Rachel waits for the day she feels safe. It may never come. She steps out of prison, but the world hasn't changed. Her name is still stained in whispers and judgment. People look at her and see a scandal, not a survivor. She thought prison would be the worst part. She was wrong. Some battles aren't about justice. Some monsters win, and Rachel is left with nothing but the pieces.